It is February 20th, day 32, and it's a little later in the evening, but I made it. I'm here. Snacks is here, and we're going to do the news. So Kash Patel was confirmed as FBI director today, which is pretty messed up because Kash Patel hates the FBI and wants to completely dismantle it. And people know this, and there's all kinds of statements on camera, him saying crazy things, and yet Republicans still chose to confirm this man. And here we are. You know, I think that says a lot about where things are at. Like, what is the state of our democracy? Well, it's not these people openly discussing dismantling our democracy and dismantling all of the agencies that have held our country together for over 100 years. That hasn't been enough of a deterrent, and these people are getting in. So, you know, they're going to do crazy things. He's going to do crazy things. And I am, again, very curious because the FBI and the CIA and the Pentagon historically haven't been the most forgiving. And they're all going to be attacked now. So things could get real very quickly. Speaking of aggressive takeovers, Trump is discussing a federal takeover of DC. And from what I could understand, he can't simply just come in and do that without the approval of Congress, but he could theoretically potentially take over the police force in DC. He would need some sort of an emergency to happen, which, I mean, we have a lot of potential emergencies. So I don't think that emergencies are hard to come by right now. So it's not off the table. I know a lot of people in DC are freaking out. Home sales in DC have been through the roof. People are speculating that possibly that has something to do with all of the people that have been fired, which makes sense. I'm sorry, I am, again, covered in cat hair. So FEMA, actually, you know what? I don't want to skip over this one. I don't know if this is funny, but this is important and I think a little bit of a relief, although at this point, like, who fucking cares, right? Maybe he'd be one of the most sane people in there, which is fucked up and sad. Mitch McConnell is not going to be running for another term. Yeah, that should have happened a couple decades ago. And yet, you know, he insisted on sticking it out. And now here we are. And he gets to watch society collapse as he dies. So, cheers to you, motherfucker. You know, anyways, good riddance. FEMA had previously been attempting to or had already put in place stronger building codes to help. I think maybe it had just recently gone into place. Stronger building codes to help homes survive disasters, which is actually really important. We cannot have buildings that collapse easily, or else the cost of continuously rebuilding these structures is going to be out of our range. Let's just be honest. A lot of the places that have had devastating storms in the last several years, they're not ever going to be what they used to be. And that is because the cost of rebuilding is so extreme. In any case, of course, Trump just dropped all of those regulations because they don't give a fuck. It's always about like swindling people out of money and allowing, you know, they're getting paid under the table. Allow capitalism to build cheap shit as quickly as possible to sell to people to take their money is basically the philosophy. We don't care what it does to the planet. We don't care if it's not going to last longer than 5 seconds. Doesn't matter. Just keep building cheap shit. Doesn't matter what the consequences are. So, oh well. They have already cut 6,000 jobs from the IRS. Obviously, we're in the middle of tax season. Should you pay your taxes? I don't know. I have my taxes automatically deducted, which is why I immediately filed the second I could, because I knew this fucking shit with storm was coming, and I've already gotten mine back. I think I already told you guys that. They take a lot of money out of my paycheck, more than a normal person, because I work on a base and on commission. And commission gets taxed at about like 30, I think it's like 34%. It's pretty fucking nuts. So they give me money back. And next year, maybe they won't, because maybe the IRS won't fucking exist, honestly. I don't know what's going to happen. Now, again, they are really about to start going hard after the agencies that are historically like not going to play these kind of fucking games. So I'm really curious. They announced today that the Pentagon needs to prepare for an 8% budget cut each year for the next 5 years. Now, the Pentagon fails audits all the time. They are spending billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. I am absolutely not opposed to us cutting back on their spending. Do I trust the way that they're about to do this? No. It sounds like they're going to be starting some cuts to military personnel tomorrow. They're going to fire a bunch more people. The amount of people that are going to lose their jobs over the next coming years is going to be astro-fucking-nomical. Like, this is how we go into a depression. Not a recession, a depression. If you fire because we're going to get to more people that are getting fired in just a second. And the ramifications of all these things that they're doing so quickly, I guess we'll see what happens. The odd thing is, Pete Hegseth is the one that announced these budget cuts, okay? And then simultaneously, sort of, Trump called for $100 billion increase in the budget, the defense spending budget. I don't know if that means that they just have no fucking clue what's going on and they don't talk to each other, or if their plan is to gut this, fire everyone, and then create some kind of like freaky Nazi army. Probably. I mean, that makes more sense to me. Honestly. Like, Nazi army driving around Elon Musk's explosive cars. Totally. That totally tracks. Researchers have found microplastics in men's testicles. I mean, they're in our brains. They're in our hearts. They're in our blood. But Trump wants to make sure you're still drinking out of plastic straws. He banned paper straws. So keep sucking it down. Doesn't matter anymore, The asteroids come in anyways. It's fine. The New York City governor, Kathy Hochul, she's decided not to remove Mayor Eric Adams, which is a huge win for the Trump administration, because Mayor Eric Adams has agreed to comply with their ICE terrorizing stuff that they're doing. So, like I said, I don't think that our democracy is quite as strong as people were hoping it was. This is sad. 3 buses exploded in a terror attack in Tel Aviv. On one of the bombs, supposedly it was written "Revenge from Tulkarem," which is the refugee camp that they just blew up in Gaza. I mean, Israel did. And again, everything that's happened over the last year has, really pushed tensions there to an absolute boiling point. So I am not surprised to hear this at all. And also, again, no one is following the rules right now. Israel is continuing to, I heard they shot a pregnant woman. They're just doing whatever they want. And so, in return, probably Hamas will do the same and nothing will ever get resolved. And also, I don't know what the updates are on Egypt wanting to help protect the Palestinians that are there and help rebuild. I'll be curious to see if Netanyahu and Trump actually respond to that. Trump is trying to reverse a budget that was given to California for a high-speed rail. We are actually one of the only countries that is supposed to be a first world country that absolutely fucking isn't, by the way. That actually, I think we were officially downgraded, to be honest with you. We don't have high-speed railways, and it's not that it's just embarrassing. It's also like really, it's detrimental to our society not to be using technology that's available to us to help people not just travel, but just like live in general. And they really, like, our quality of life is actually very, very low in comparison to a lot of other places, like China and Denmark and Germany. I mean, a lot of other countries, if you watch people go into their grocery stores, even, like, anyways, that's a long topic. But I'm sure, you know, California contributes, I think it's almost like 15% of the total GDP for the entire country. So they should be able to do whatever the fuck they want, frankly. Like, that's their money. And if they found a way to manage their own budget and not contribute to the country, like, a lot of states in this country would be fucked. They would lose money that they were gaining directly from California. But it is what it is, you know. This is going to be a long fight, and it'll be interesting to see if the United States ends up breaking apart. I think that's a real possibility. So we are deporting a flight of mostly Asians to Costa Rica, and half of those on board are going to be minors. Now, I read through the whole article. I'm assuming that these minors are accompanied by family members. I fucking hope so, because it didn't say that they weren't. I think it's insane to just send immigrants to random countries, but Costa Rica's statement on it was actually very beautiful. And they basically are like, yeah, we believe in human rights, so we're going to take these people. We're going to help them figure this shit out. Just fucking send them here. It's just, this country is so gross, bro. So gross. The bodies of the hostages that were just returned to Israel, it's 2 children, I believe 5 and 2. And supposedly it was supposed to be with their mother. Israel's claiming that the body of the adult was not their mother. Again, all of this shit is crazy and cruel and chaotic and sad. It's not good. And will that escalate things? Yeah, I'm sure it will, probably. I mean, I think that a lot of this... yeah. Yes, probably. Elon Musk and Javier Milei are on stage, I think right now, maybe still, at some dork conservative convention. Like, I'm not even... I opened it for 1 second. It's literally him holding a chainsaw. I'm sure he's just talking about how they're destroying the world with a chainsaw. Yeah, that's accurate. That's fucking true. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely disgusting. Sorry, I dissociated for a second. The White House secretary is still... It's so trashy and so disrespectful. She referred to Canada again today as the 51st state, talking about how we're going to beat them in sports or something. Trashy. Gross. These people are it is almost as if they have not at all matured since they were in fraternities, which very clearly either they were or they desperately wanted to be and have been studying how to be frat boys ever since. And she is absolutely a frat rat, and it's gross. And she's gross. She's really gross, actually. So Trump's appeal on birthright citizenship, thank God, was rejected by the courts. There are still some things that he has not been able to pull off, because absolutely everything he's doing is against the law. But again, they don't listen. to the courts. Like, they still have not released the funding to USAID. So when they don't do what the law is asking or requiring of them, then what? I don't know. Probably nothing, you know? Probably we just are like, all right, well, we asked you. Unless someone's willing to go in there and literally physically restrain them, I don't know what else is going to work. And I don't think that that's going to happen soon. This may lead to a war that will eventually lead to that, but I don't know. Trump is planning to reverse. Biden had put in a series of, I don't know if they're like laws or just changes to the way that we do our banking, that we're requiring banks to not go beyond a certain level of banking fees, and Trump is going to undo that. So they're going to let banks, I don't know if it's going to be like unlimited, that banks can just charge whatever they want, but they are going to be jacking the banking fees back up. And possibly, since they're so supportive of stuff like that, I do foresee a lot of corporations taking advantage of this time to just, I mean, there's nothing stopping them, you know? And they're all good friends. He's buddies with these CEOs, and they're ecstatic because they get to make enormous profits. So, and I have heard a lot of people talking about leaving and going to credit unions. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think that's probably a good idea. But in terms of like our money being insured, I don't know. I know it certainly isn't anymore in a bank, and I don't know if it is in a credit union either. So it's not a very safe time to be a person. I would just say that if this stuff is going to become a problem, it's going to be a problem for absolutely everyone. I was at dinner with a friend tonight. We were talking about the Medicaid situation. And we have to remember that if everyone's Medicaid gets taken away, it's going to be such an enormous problem that it's going to really kind of screw up everyone's lives simultaneously. And that will possibly force emergency solutions, even if it's community aid, even if it's literally just mutual aid. But not everyone's gonna die. You know what I mean? Like, that's not something that's gonna happen. People are not gonna just all lay down and die at once. That's not gonna be a thing. There may be people that do pass because of what's happening, for sure. I'm sure that there probably will be a lot, actually. But I don't think it's going to be all of us. So this is the last story for tonight. Honda and Toyota have announced that they're going to suspend U.S. operations. I don't believe it's completely. It's just a large number of U.S. assembly plants, like a lot of them. And this is in response to the tariffs that Trump has put in place. These assembly plants are in Ohio, Kentucky, Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Georgia, and they're planning to lay off tens of thousands of workers. So again, every day that goes by, more and more and more and more people are losing their jobs, and that affects the economy, you guys. Like, that is, if we make it out of this period of time without falling all the way into a depression, I'll be surprised. I think we're in for a recession, absolutely, and possibly a depression. And that's really scary. Especially because it's not like the first depression where people knew how to grow their food. They were pretty self-sufficient already. Like, no one knows how to do jack shit. People barely know how to microwave a fucking burrito. Like, let's be honest. So I just don't... Although, again, I will reiterate, I don't think everyone's going to die. Probably. Not that that would be, I don't know. Some people don't want to live through all this fucking shit. You know what I mean? Maybe some people don't mind. But I don't think everyone's going to die, but I also don't think it's going to be a very pleasant experience. And my only hope is that, lessons come in it almost can feel like we're repeating history, right? And I know a lot of people talk about that. We're repeating the same lesson. I don't really believe that. I believe that it moves in a spiral, and that each time you revisit an idea, you have an opportunity to do it better the next time, right? I'm not saying that we're going to pass that test, but I am saying that we're having another opportunity to revisit some of these very, very, very dark concepts, right? The concept of tribalism, individualism, like cruelty, domination, slavery, just really fucking fucked up shit, right? And you know, asking the question, like, are human beings just tribal, hierarchical animals, or could we actually step beyond that and be something better than that, so that we can ensure the survival of our species? Because if we can't, we won't survive. We'll keep coming back to this point until we finally like cross the line and go too far, in my opinion. In any case, we can't make decisions for our entire species, and you know, you can take care of the people around you to the best of your abilities now. That's what we can do, is we can help each other emotionally, you know, make plans to help each other in other ways, help each other with gardens, help each other learn skills. That's definitely a good idea. So anyways, I'm going to go back to reading my book, The Worst Hard Time. And I think some of you figured that out from my previous video. It's called The Worst Hard Time. It's about the Dust Bowl. It's about the Depression. My dog will not stop barking. I think he's really pissed. First of all, something's definitely probably going on outside. Also, I was gone for an entire hour and 45 minutes, and that is like an unmanageable amount of time for him, because normally he sits on me 24 hours a day. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow.